Welcome to Shadow Files, where real mysteries get the spotlight. Today's case is one of the most chilling and controversial in Canadian history. This is the story of Cindy James. In this video, we'll peel back every layer of this dark and complex case, from Cindy's traumatic childhood and troubled marriage, to the terrifying stalking episodes, her controversial relationship with psychiatrist Ross McBride, the alarming police missteps, and the chilling autopsy report that left even the experts divided. This is the mystery of Cindy James, and it's unlike anything you've ever heard before. So let's get started. Cynthia Elizabeth Cindy James was born on June 12, 1944, in Oliver, British Columbia, into a strict Russian-descended household. She was the second of 6 children and lived with a father, Otto Hack, who had served as a Royal Canadian Air Force colonel. Otto's parenting style involved corporal punishment and rigid rules, which Cindy later described in her diaries as emotionally oppressive. The family moved frequently due to her father's military commitments, causing Cindy to spend parts of her adolescence in Ottawa. Her sisters described her as sensitive and deeply introspective, often distancing herself from family conflicts. There are suggestions in transcripts that she may have experienced emotional neglect or even abuse tied to her father's harsh discipline. This upbringing reportedly seeded internal conflict and self-doubt in Cindy's adult life. These early wounds resurfaced during her lifelong struggle with threat perception. Survivors from her past recollect Cindy as eager to please but haunted by uncertainty. These childhood roots became a backdrop to how she processed the trauma that unfolded later. In 1966, Cindy married Dr. Roy Makepeace, a psychiatrist 18 years older than her, after meeting during her service at Vancouver General Hospital. Though educated and outwardly charming, Makepeace's relationship with Cindy was marred by emotional distance and power dynamics. Family and friends later claimed Cindy expressed concern Roy manipulated her psychologically during their marriage. She once claimed to therapists that he had emotionally abused and occasionally slapped her, claims Makepeace minimized, saying only a few private discipline incidents occurred. During treatment and interviews, Cindy shared ambivalent feelings toward Roy, sometimes accusing him of deliberate torment. Although the marriage ended in 1982, Cindy's contact with Roy remained surprisingly frequent afterward. They reportedly discussed her claims at length, with Roy contributing theories that included mafia-linked stalking. Investigators and family questioned his motives when he remained close to her life even after divorce. Cindy's shift from Makepeace to using her maiden name, James, later on, was interpreted by some as distancing herself from his influence. Roy's presence and psychiatric influence created persistent ambiguity over the narrative of Cindy's declining mental health. From September 1982 to her disappearance in May 1989, Cindy reported an astonishing 90 separate incidents to the RCMP. These included obscene phone calls with whispering voices, random silence, breathing noises, and direct threats. Many nights she found cryptic messages pasted on her windshield or mailbox, saying things like, "I'll get you," or "Welcome back." Death, blood, hate. The vandalism escalated. Mailboxes were destroyed, windows smashed, slashed pillows on her bed, and anonymous graffiti on her front porch. 3 cats were strangled and dumped in her yard, roped together, a gruesome sign of escalation. On one occasion, her dog was found strangled yet alive. Cindy claimed that one night she awoke to find her phone line severed in multiple spots. She received threatening letters constructed from magazine cutouts with phrases like, "Now you must die, cunt." At least 6 times, she was discovered unconscious with a dark gray or black nylon stocking tied around her neck. Multiple nights led Cindy to seek help from neighbors or flee indoors. These episodes became a haunting ritual, an unrelenting campaign of intangible terror with no forensic closure. Pat McBride, a constable with the RCMP, was initially assigned to investigate Cindy's harassment complaints in late 1982. Over time, he developed a personal relationship with Cindy. He moved into her home temporarily to provide protection and monitor incidents. McBride later stated he stayed to provide emotional and physical safety, but some reports hint at a romantic closeness which clouded his investigative objectivity. He reported incidents only happened when he was away or asleep, which raised questions among other officers. Neighbors recalled seeing McBride outside late at night near Cindy's house in a parked car. After he moved back out, incidents escalated drastically, adding to suspicion about his reliability. McBride and Cindy ended their relationship within months, but they continued occasional contact. During inquest testimony, his credibility was questioned because of his emotional ties and inconsistent accounts of surveillance. Cindy's family expressed concern both for her safety and McBride's influence over her life. Moreover, McBride was never fully excused from the ongoing investigation, which introduced controversy about the integrity of RCMP efforts. In the mid-1980s, Cindy hired private investigator Ozzy Caban in response to relentless threats. Caban installed security devices at her residence, including alarms, panic buttons, and cameras. He accompanied Cindy to her home nearly nightly, staying hidden outside in a van when requested. On one occasion, Caban found her unconscious in the garage, hogtied, stalking around her neck, with bruises and a knife wound. He once discovered a pink basement pillow slashed and taped letters pinned to the wall, stating, "You're dead." Despite documenting eyewitness statements from her neighbors, the RCMP largely dismissed his findings as unsubstantiated. Caban repeatedly reported external strangers, footprints, and cigarette butts unrecognized by Cindy. Yet even with this inside eyewitness footage, police never identified a suspect or linked forensic evidence. Caban declared that Cindy was terrified but coherent, insisting she never fabricated her terror. After Cindy's death, he was a key witness in the coroner's inquest, describing her genuine fear and repeated trauma. His ongoing records formed a cornerstone in public arguments for homicide. Despite over $1 million Canadian in investigation by the RCMP, no physical evidence, fingerprints, or DNA were ever collected. Investigators became suspicious Cindy might be making up incidents in order to garner care or attention. She performed polygraphs. One was declared inconclusive. She refused another. Some psychiatrists diagnosed her with dissociative identity disorder or borderline personality disorder, citing suppressed childhood trauma. In 1985, Cindy was hospitalized following an overdose. The RCMP suggested she was possibly suicidal or fabricating episodes, while doctors in the psychiatric wards critiqued her behavior as dramatized. Her family insisted she was traumatized by persistent external threat. A psychologist hired by police wrote that Cindy was histrionic and able to manipulate the narrative. Community sentiment shifted dramatically. Some believed she was mentally unstable. while others accused authorities of victim blaming. Cindy's private journals, psychiatric reports, and family testimony sharply diverged from official narratives. Accusations of stigma, misogyny, and professional neglect became central to the debate over her treatment and credibility. From 1985 to early 1989, Cindy's efforts to protect herself only seemed to intensify the attacks. She legally changed her last name to James and moved residences multiple times, hoping to escape her stalker. She painted her car a new color several times in a row. Graffiti began appearing on her home and car, messages like "Soon Cindy" or "Sleep well." On one night, her front porch light was intentionally loosened so it flickered ominously. Elsewhere, a fire erupted in her basement bathroom in August 1984 around 4:45 a.m. Police found soot on the windowsill, but no evidence of forced entry. Investigators claimed Cindy may have started it herself. Then, in December 1985, she was found unconscious in a ditch near the University of British Columbia, wearing only work boots and a glove, nylon stocking tied again around her neck. Paramedics discovered signs of drugging and bruises. She claimed no memory of how she arrived there. In February 1989, a scent hound traced an unknown trail over her backyard fence. Each escalation came after new protective measures were put in place, deepening the mystery. Through it all, Cindy expressed frustration that the events seemed to follow her every attempt at safety. On May 25, 1989, Cindy withdrew earnings and visited a mall ATM at 7:59 p.m., the last confirmed sighting. By 10 p.m., her car was found abandoned in the parking lot with groceries still inside, her purse on the ground, and blood on the driver's door. Her home remained locked and undisturbed, various houseplants thriving, belongings orderly. A citizen called it in, and search efforts began immediately. After 2 weeks of exhaustive searches by RCMP and local Coast Guard teams, Cindy remained missing. On June 8th, municipal worker Gordon Starchuk discovered her body behind an abandoned house at 8111 Blundell Road. Her body was face down in brush, hands tied behind her back, feet bound, nylon stocking around her neck. Nearby, graffiti sprayed in orange read "Some bitch died here," with a painted line encircling the body and the word "devil" inside the house. Her coat was found nearby. The scene was disturbing, yet still, nobody was apparent in the area. The placement in brush suggested someone had deliberately concealed rather than scattered the remains. It was an eerie tableau of violence and staging, providing graphic closure to her long nightmare. At the coroner's examination, toxicology revealed massive dosages of morphine, diazepam, and flurazepam, sedatives and painkillers far exceeding therapeutic levels. Forensic pathologist Dr. Sheila Carlisle noted lividity on Cindy's left side, yet her body was found on the right, implying it had been moved after death. A needle mark was observed on her inner arm, but no syringe or drug paraphernalia was discovered at the scene. Not expert Robert Chisnell demonstrated in court that while self-hog-tying in under 3 minutes was physically feasible, the inflicted injuries, including scratches and bruising consistent with forced restraint, made self-binding implausible. One finger had rubbed bone from another, indicating intense tight binding. Cindy was found wearing a green sweater and scarf, but no gloves. Her clothes had muddy underside stains, matching the brush. The toxicologist testified that if the morphine was administered intravenously, Cindy would have become incapacitated within minutes, making self-tying nearly impossible. The combination of pharmacological, forensic, and medical anomalies fueled the argument for homicide rather than self-harm. Despite the forensic contradictions, the RCMP publicly maintained that Cindy's murder was potentially self-inflicted, a final act staged to appear violent. They argued that after years of psychological distress and broken relationships, Cindy may have orchestrated her own death. Tabloid media echoed the narrative, citing mental illness and suspicious behavior. Cindy's family and private investigator Cabin vehemently rejected it as preposterous. They cited the complexity of the bindings, the sedative levels, and her repeated pleas that she would be killed. Many neighbors and coworkers rallied in support of Cindy, claiming her authenticity and fear. The official line dismissed conspiracy theories and mafia allegations. Public petitions and advocacy for case reevaluation emerged, but got no official traction. Cindy's online legacy remains split. Some forum posters say it reeks of perfection homicide. Others say she engineered it to escape trauma. The stark divide between institutional position and grassroots belief remains one of the case's most haunting truths. Spring 1990, Burnaby held a 40-day coroner's inquest with over 80 witnesses, including psychologists, family, law enforcement officials, and the private investigator. The hearings remain the longest and costliest in BC history. Despite hours of testimony and detailed evidence, the jury returned an open verdict, declaring Cindy's death the result of an unknown event. Neither homicide nor suicide. Books like Who Killed Cindy James and The Deaths of Cindy James emerged shortly afterward, meticulously reconstructing her life and the investigation. The case was featured on Unsolved Mysteries in 1991 and renewed interest via the 2021 Audible podcast, Death by Unknown Event. Online communities, particularly Reddit's true crime threads, debate the case endlessly. Perfect murder versus psychological spiral. Investigative blogs have linked the case to broader debates about institutional misogyny and dismissal of female victims. Cindy's story is taught in criminology courses and victim advocacy seminars. Despite no arrests, her haunting message, "I know whoever is doing this will kill me," continues to echo in true crime discourse, and calls for reopening the case remain. Her legacy is a testament to both unpunished violence and unanswered cries for help. If you like the video and want to hear more about unsolved mysteries, please like the video, because we upload every week a new mystery, a new murder case. A lot of things are hiding in shadows. Subscribe Shadow Files and take care of yourself. We'll see you in next video.